He'd spent a year unraveling the code curled in Atasaya's monstrous DNA, a demon's legacy of stolen souls, each essence absorbed in a dark communion. His obsession birthed a marvel, a device hidden in the mundane guise of black sunglasses, capable of stripping away illusion, exposing monsters masquerading as men. Science and magic conspired in this invention, a fragile bulwark for his family. With it, Mr. Abgel and his sons walked the world with sight sharpened to the uncanny, guardians against the wolves in human skin. The twins, Castor and Pollux, were mirror images at first glance, locks the color of toasted sand, eyes shifting from molten honey to stormlit gold, grins sparking with mischief or mystery. Yet their souls were day and night, Castor, the storm chaser, reckless and radiant, forever plotting new adventures, Pollux, the dreamer, quiet as moonlight, drawn to labyrinths of story and shadow. Together they were a living paradox, impossible to tell apart, yet utterly singular in spirit. Descending into the funeral home's underbelly, their footsteps rang out, a lonely echo along stone veins chilled by centuries. Anticipation crackled between them, Castor's eyes alight with the thrill of discovery, Pollux's brow furrowed in silent calculation. The air tasted of old wood and time-worn dust, the darkness alive with the scent of mysteries unsolved. They neared the threshold of their father's sanctum, where shelves sagged beneath alchemical colors and tables bristled with the residue of experiments that blurred the line between science and spellcraft. The air changed as they stormed through the door, gloom dissolved beneath the incandescence of their arrival. Youthful wonder blazed in their eyes, scattering shadows and sorrow alike. Mr. Abgel's heart surged with pride. These were his sons, luminous and unafraid, punctuating his world of sorrow with sparks of joy and hope. Here, in their laughter and awe, the burdens of death and duty grew lighter, if only for a heartbeat. Pollux, always the more observant, held out a garnet medallion that glistened in the low light. The medallion hung from a thin gold chain that shimmered in the glow. As the deep red stone caught the light, it flashed with fiery colors, hinting at hidden treasures and secrets in their unusual world. "Papa, look at the medallion! It's glowing!" Castor shouted, his voice full of wonder. The medallion's glow was more than just a shine. It gave off a rare, otherworldly light, hinting at something important about to happen. At that moment, Pollux's eyes rolled back, showing he was about to enter a trance. This strange event made the moment feel even more special, as if something miraculous was happening. "Where is the Garnet Warrior located?" Mr. Abgel asked, his voice steady but curious. He was talking about a legendary figure from their family's history, a guardian known for great power and a strong commitment to protecting the innocent. "It has to be in New Orleans, Papa," Castor replied, sounding sure of the medallion's importance. Hearing New Orleans, with all its history, mystery, and lively culture, made Mr. Abgel feel a thrill. "Here? In New Orleans? Either this medallion is broken or fate has a strange way of showing itself," Mr. Abgel said, thinking about the odd turn of events. "Weren't you the one who told me to always trust the medallion and whoever wears it?" Castor said, his face bright with confidence. His words showed a deep belief in the medallion's power and meaning. "Yes, you're right, my boy," Mr. Abgel said, a nostalgic look in his eyes as he recalled his father's advice. "That's what my father told me, his father told him before him. As long as we draw breath, we should always trust and support the Garnet Warrior." Castor leaned against Pollux's shoulder and let himself drift into a trance, relying on the deep bond they shared. His heart raced as he felt the energy between them. As his eyes rolled back, Castor entered Pollux's vision, where imagination and reality blurred. Years together had taught them to share thoughts and feelings in a way only twins could. In that moment, they were united and ready for whatever lay ahead. "Papa, he's the one," Castor said urgently as he came out of the trance. Sweat beaded on his forehead, and his chest rose and fell quickly as the vision lingered. He looked at his father, worry plain on his face. Maybe this is fate. The medallion and Pollux's vision are too clear to ignore. What do we do now? The clan. They're about to lynch the next Garnet Warrior. A sense of dread filled the room. Castor imagined the noose, the angry shouts and the desperate eyes of the man from Pollux's vision. The mission weighed on him, connected to their past, fate, and the threat of violence that could take away everything they loved. "Take Hugo and bring me the next Garnet Warrior," Mr. Abgel said, keeping his voice steady, though his eyes showed his concern. He opened a drawer and took out a pair of black sunglasses, their lenses catching the lamp's light with a faint, odd glow. He tossed them to Castor, who felt their unexpected weight. "You'll need these," Mr. Abgel said, his tone urgent. "They'll help you see what's really there, beyond the surface and the masks. When the time comes, you'll know what to do. Trust your instincts and each other." Castor put the sunglasses in his coat pocket and nodded, feeling a mix of anticipation and dread. Each moment was filled with danger and hope. With adrenaline pumping, he grabbed his coat and hurried down the spiral staircase, his footsteps echoing. The cold garage air stung his cheeks as he opened the hearse door. The hearse, both a symbol and a vehicle, was painted black and decorated with silver runes, ravens, lilies, and family symbols. Inside it smelled of leather, candle wax, and a trace of incense. Castor started the engine, feeling the deep rumble beneath him. He checked the rearview mirror, focused, then pressed the accelerator. The tires screeched as the hearse sped down the moonlit road. Landmarks from Pollux's vision flashed by. Twisted cypress trees, iron fences, and dark shadows. Each mile brought them closer to danger, with New Orleans City Park fixed in Castor's mind as the place where everything would unfold. Every turn felt like a countdown to a critical moment. Under the dark eaves of the funeral home, Mr. Abgel and Pollux went down to the ceremonial chambers, a vaulted room carved from old limestone, lit by flickering sconces and filled with the scent of myrrh and bay leaf. The air was thick with anticipation and worry. They moved with purpose, their boots echoing on the stone floor as they set up the transition table, a polished mahogany slab with occult symbols and silver inlays. Pollux carried a rough burlap sack of salt, the grains sharp in his gloved hands. Carefully, they traced the family crest, a double-headed owl surrounded by runes and thistles, on the stone, placing the table at the center. The salt grains sparkled in the candlelight, forming a glowing line between the living and the world beyond. The pattern spread out, winding around the table's legs and along the room's edges, its power felt in the tense air. Every action was part of the ritual, each detail meant to guard against the chaos they were about to summon. Afterward, Pollux hurried to the chamber's closet, his heart pounding. He grabbed a heavy iron lever on the wall, its surface worn smooth from years of use. Taking a deep breath and whispering a prayer, he pulled it down. A loud thud echoed through the chamber, shaking dust from the stone arches and making the floor tremble. He quickly moved to a brass handle in the wall, gripping it tightly. As he pulled, gears whirred, and a hidden panel opened, revealing the casket from above. The oak coffin, decorated with mother-of-pearl skulls, rolled out on a hidden track. Pollux turned it with effort, pushing the heavy cart to the edge of the salt pattern, careful not to disturb it. "Hurry, Pollux! Get the jars of the organs. We only have one shot at this," Mr. Abgel said, his voice rough with urgency. As he spoke, he painted his face white, making his features look like a skull. He took off his black suit and put on a flowing purple robe, the fabric marked with hidden runes and catching the candlelight as he moved with purpose. With steady hands, Pollux opened the casket. Inside, an eerie green light glowed as he removed the organs, each carefully preserved in its own glass jar, floating in a thick green fluid flecked with gold. He handled each one with care: the heart, lungs, brain, liver, kidneys, and adrenal glands, arranging them in a precise pattern on the altar floor. The jars shone under the flickering candelabra, each one an offering and a warning, a grim mosaic made from flesh and fate. When the display was finished, Pollux went back to the coffin and opened a bottle of Bayou white rum, its label faded but still carrying the scent of many wakes. He took a long drink, cheeks puffing as he filled his mouth with the strong spirit. With a practiced motion, he leaned forward and spat a fine mist of rum into the air, surrounding his father in a fragrant haze. The droplets caught the candlelight, drifting like ghostly fireflies and marking the start of the ritual to bridge life and death. Taking a secret tunnel beneath the city, Castor avoided the crowded streets full of festival-goers and emerged in the shadows of the city park, just ahead of Sevyn and the group of men who had trapped him. He parked the black hearse in a dim corner, making sure it blended into the darkness. Heart pounding, Castor got out and ran toward the center of the park, taking his place where Pollux had stood to witness Sevyn's looming fate. The minutes crawled by as the mob finally showed up, dragging Sevyn's limp body through the dirt with a noose around his neck.